All right, so we mentioned earlier that, and I think we're going to see a lot of this, and the reason why I'm so skeptical about all of cable news and all of broadcast news and the vast majority of news. And frankly, you know, I really would like to see someone look into this in terms of like even just so-called independent news. Is because at the end of the day, a lot of these decisions are going to be made because of money. Now, in this instance, independent news, I think, is going to be a little bit better off because some of their bottom lines are enhanced by dissent. But if you are a major media company that in any way your bottom line is implicated by government regulation, add that to the notion of a Donald Trump who has already shown his willingness to essentially pick and choose who is going to feel the government's wrath. Add that to the fact that Paul Ryan et al. Don't seem to care. You're going to hear a lot of this. This is Time Warner Chairman and CEO Jeff Bewkes, who is waiting to see if Time Warner and the AT&T merger worth $85 billion will be approved by a host of federal regulators. Here he is talking about what the real threat to the First Amendment is. Is it Donald Trump saying that he wants to change the laws in this country, singling out reporters who ultimately needed, including Megyn Kelly and Katie Tur from MSNBC,
especially them, I hate them,
who are getting death threats? Is it the creationist who runs the Department of Education? Is it the Department of Homeland Security chiefs who may or may not be, full-on military? I mean, who is the biggest threat to First Amendment? Let this guy tell you.
He's threatening to effectively change the First Amendment. He's obviously got CNN at sight. Do you worry about that at all?
No, I don't think that's a serious thing. We should all worry if anybody's going to change the First Amendment. And remember, the Democratic Party had a campaign plank to change the First Amendment. And they were doing it in the guise of campaign finance reform. And that was worrying me more because the press tends to miss that because they tend to lean that way, and therefore they were supporting what they were viewing, I think overly charitably, as something in cleaning up money in politics, when in fact what it would do is restrain multiple voices. And so I thought the threat to the First Amendment came from the Democratic side more. I think there's not going to be a serious effort on the Republican side.
I mean, I honestly, like, this is a, one of the Sonda careerists, right? Like, this is one of those guys who is just willing to go up there and say that because he wants to make sure that the president looks kindly upon his $85 billion merger.
Oh, it's perfectly synchronized, though.
Grotesque.
He has a grotesque and craven position on money in politics to begin with, obviously,
right.
And it dovetails with sucking up to Trump.
Right.
Now, on the irrelevant note, he sounds a little bit like a white Ben Carson. A very odd voice.
Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Subscribe.